Greetings, community. It's Kevin. 1-2 Comic Talk. It's good to be with you. Cocktails and comics. Hope you grabbed one. Talk about cocktail or comics, whatever works for you for this evening of Friday night. So I ended up receiving, along with Kai, one of many books that were offered through Source Point. And yeah, that was rather dumb of me. I picked up one. Really, what it ended up working out to be is by the time I end up receiving my email and responding to it after things that I've been doing, I'm sure many of you have been hearing me make mention that I've been working in the backyard, that when I had finally seized my opportunity to take advantage of the offering that they're having over at Source Point, I only saw one of the titles available that I was interested in. And as I was scrolling back through, I was noticing that they were slowly going out of stock. So I didn't get to, capitalize and receive as many books as I wanted to receive, both for Kai and I. But I didn't get, the Franklin Ghost issue 1. I really wanted this cover. I was a little shocked on how they shipped it. We'll get into that. Again, good evening if you're watching. Hope you grab your drink. I do know the story. I had, along with Kai, we did an interview with Garrett Gunn on the show of Artist Alley. It was a great show. It's a great book. That's why I had to get it again, because we normally give out these books once we end up doing interviews with these artists and creators. So in the case of when Garrett came on, we gave away his book. I wanted one. After we gave it away, I was like, I want that book again. So not only that, I have to get all these volumes. So I'm now obligated to get volume 1, 2, 3. And he's working. The third just came out, and he's working on Warcorns to come out as a single one shot. And then he just made an announcement that there's going to be a miniseries coming out. I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait to have him on. Also, with the artist that's taken over for the miniseries, I think both on Instagram and Facebook, befriended her and following her. So I look forward to actually speaking with both of them on another Artist Alley. I'm hoping maybe by the end of next month, maybe if I'm lucky, beginning of July. I'll be fortunate enough to be able to receive information on exactly when this stuff's supposed to drop. I don't know if you end up seeing the video that Kai and I ended up dropping. It was a little live piece that we ended up doing. It was less than 5 minutes long. It was a way of, I guess, giving a brief synopsis of what's supposed to transpire in the next few months as far as how these books are supposed to be issued by Diamond, issued by Midtown and DCBS. Yeah. I don't know if you know, but basically between DCBS and Midtown, they're like the second largest as far as distributorship when you compare them to what Diamond is doing. And they're the first as far as what they're doing online. Cheers for those that are watching. And if it's only because I'm not saying, hey, Superior. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you grab your drink. Happy Friday night. So what I end up having Kai end up doing a lot of that research. So I said, if you're going to end up doing the research and you're going to end up reading the email that we got, you go ahead and do all the highlighting. Tell them what you want to go ahead and them to know. And I'll fill them in on anything that is in between. Hey, Bearded. How you doing, man? I got you, bro.
What's up, brother?
How are you, man? Cool. I don't know if you were listening to what I was talking about earlier, but my son and I, we end up throwing a mini little broadcast earlier, about less than 5 minutes. It was basically talking about how the books are going to be coming out in the next few months. And I don't know if you follow anything outside of comics, but I do a little dabbling in other stuff. And Anne Rice was one of my favorites during the late 80s, early 90s, during all that vampire stuff.
Okay.
And her and her son just signed on. I thought it was Netflix. I was talking last night. It turned out to be AMC. So I was glad.
Okay,
clarifying for that. So I was like, you know what, Kai? Just read it out. So the way it is it's going to be, they're going to redo. Well, they're going to relook at everything. They're going to drop the 3 that they've already done on AMC. Is kind of a way to everyone's whistle. And then I want to hope that they're going to end up doing some as a regular ongoing series, or maybe go through the whole thing. That'd be fucking awesome. But have to just wait and see.
Right.
But hey, how you doing? You got a drink? Water?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Happy Friday, man.
Happy Friday to you. So I actually got out to the comic book store for the first time in 2 months. So it was weird. It was nice though.
Yeah, you know what? I really believe everyone's more than itching to just get anything considered quote unquote new from a shop. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it doesn't matter what the fuck it is.
I was looking on the wall because I'll go in, but I'm not gonna dig. I'm just still gonna, try and be good on that. But I was looking at the wall. I'm like, am I really contemplating buying like Batgirl 54 or whatever?
And my son and I, we frequent shops around. We live in a very populated area. We're in the LA area. So in our area, we have as many as over 50 shops in an area that's less than, let's say, 25 miles. All right. Now, with that comes a lot of competition. You know what I mean? So it can get gnarly.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm really bringing that up is we pick and chosen certain places that we've decided to honor and assist in any way possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's, let's say, a handful, that we honor around here and what we help out. So in that, we divide up what our purchases is almost over a course of a month between shops and online.
Okay.
So that way it kind of covers all the bases of shit. We need to offset costs here. Or in the case of me, I know I'm going to get a certain run, but maybe all the brick and mortars are asking maybe $1 per ratio. So if I'm looking for a ratio book, I don't want to pay $25, $50, or $100.
Right.
If I go online, I can go ahead and get that for that, half ratio cost or so. If that makes sense.
Finding the balance of the brick and mortar, but still trying to get some books at a decent price, because it's tough, and it's tough to get those variants sometimes or incentives at the brick and mortar because they're smart, they know what they go for,
right?
So
and how and I've made this recommendation, and some of these places have taken notice, is that if they want to sell certain incentives that they want to charge at ratio or more, the best way to do so is pay the money and actually have an artist or a writer come in, do a signing event. So now you can go ahead and sell all those books. Hey, look, buy a standard A copy. We'll sell you this book at $5 over ratio, and you can get both both signed.
Yeah.
There's an incentive to come, not only get a person that might not be coming regularly into your shop, but they're now willing to pay a little bit more over a ratio cost.
Makes sense.
And everyone wins, because I when it comes to certain things like that, I'm a signature whore. If it's something that I'm definitely interested in, I like to, have my son go along with me and see if, one, he's interested in the story after we go ahead and go through it, and two, does he want to meet these people too? Because more times than not, he gets the same thrill and I do, and that allows us to always attach a story to our stories.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what we share with the community.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If I go to a con, I'm looking at every single artist, writer who's there, and I'm like, I'm gonna try and get a book signed.
Yeah, I don't know. It stems from me going way back in the day of having this habit of always wanting to get my shit signed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, everyone has their niche, you know what I mean? And I get it, because I have my own, that everyone has theirs, and I respect it for what it is. Right. You know what I mean? So I guess I have my own. Want to get my shit signed. Oh, so there we are. So what's new with you, man?
Man, much. Just trying to recover and doing a lot of editing to put some content out on my channel, and then still be active in other channels and stuff like that and see. But I picked up I've been having my LCS hold my books, and then I've just been PayPaling them throughout the last couple weeks, so that way they're still able to go, because I was like, I'm gonna stay out for a little bit. But while I was in, I was able to. He's getting me I'm gonna pick up the new all 8 issues of the latest Daredevil run. So I kept hearing great things about that, so I was pretty jazzed about that. So
Yeah, if you talk to Rod the Rican, just the Rican in his comics,
yep,
he's a Daredevil fan. And you know what? In the early '90s, I picked up some Daredevil, and I liked the writing and I liked how it was drawn, and I was kind of into it. Unfortunately, it was also during the time of Image, Valiant, Defiant, Malibu, fucking Dark Horse. I mean, you name it. It was hitting at every direction, and you had no idea which way to go. And when '94 hit, and it just went, you know, you now what? It was, so
yeah,
it
that
got
was wild.
because there was a lot of shit I liked, you know, and it necessarily wasn't conventionally good. I mean, some of it was historically bad, but
And some of my favorite stories are from the mid '90s, and I know they're horrible. I know they're not good, but it's nostalgic for me. I liked it. I was the demographic they were writing to,
sure.
like, and so I liked it. Now, would I be like go back to them? Like, no, but I'll tell you what. Say what you will, but man, those Amalgam series books, that was all I wanted. The crossover of DC Marvel. What 10, 12-year-old kid didn't want that, right?
Right.
No matter how badly tied together the story was.
Well, and you know, and some of the things that have been, how should I say, now historically tied into some of the reasonings behind why we've had that implosion of the industry. People are now looking for, and what I mean by that is Superman, the death of Superman, and it's complete. Nightfall, and it's complete. You know, there's so many so many runs and so many things that were long and crossovers and you know, Executioner's Song and just shit that was just at the time considered really, really bad. Selling a lot of copies, people thinking they're going to turn and flip and become rich, but there are now stories that people are basing stories off of presently, kind of taking pieces and basing little pieces of stories off from then to now and bridging these gaps. And now people are looking over, wait, well, what were these stories about again? Well, they all happened either somewhere between like 82 all the way up to around 94. You're seeing a lot of resurgence or how should I say, springboarding off of these storylines, both DC and Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, Carnage, fuck. Who would have thought 361 would be where it's at right now? I wouldn't have.
No, I mean, well, apparently they did, because what was it? We were looking at that Wizard magazine last night.
Exactly.
We were all clowning, and it's like, oh, wait, they knew.
Well, and I mean, again, I was that person that I was buying full series of shit. So I have that full series. But I mean, I was, like I was saying, I remember when all that shit was coming out and people were saying this is getting ridiculous of what was coming out between variants and I'm trying to remember, I think it was called Team Titans, and you had to buy A through E, and that completed the whole issue 1 as far as the look that they wanted of the whole card series that came along with it. And the book, and it was just, it got to be a lot.
Yeah, it is. And that's what you have to, as a collector, you have to just, you know, not even just collect what you want, but, you know, understand that you're not going to be able to collect everything. And I think that's the key. Oops, oops.
It is. Hey, you did what I did.
Well, I'm putting my iPad in so that way I can have, I can prop it up a little bit, and but Yeah, like I mean, you have all the Marvel had their War of the Realms run, and if you wanted to be a completionist and get every single issue, you were buying 35 different issues, and it's like, holy cow. Like I don't have that time and that budget.
What killed me in last year is when my son and I, or when I got back into it, and my son and I got into this, and we're coming up on 11 months.
Okay.
The reason why I'm only bringing that timeline up is that was when they were pitching Absolute Venom, and it had yet to drop, but that's when they were pitching it. And I'm a symbiote slut. You know, I'm all about. I've always been. You know, I have all that stuff. You name it, I pretty much have everything. Significant run of stuff. I've never really bought at the time any single stuff, so I don't have Mind Bomb. I don't have, you know, a couple of runs that were little mini runs. So my point being is, I end up buying essentially almost a whole short box full of Absolute Carnage shit between all the tie-ins, all the connecting covers, all the ratios, all the. I mean, it's a good fucking thing my wife doesn't know, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Because the Absolute Carnage had so many tie-ins, but at least what they did was they actually made stories out of it. Freaking DC, and I'm a DC guy, but their Year of the Villain storyline was like, they're like, oh, make sure you get all these other issues. And I was like, I'm right. I'm gonna get all these Year of the Villain stuff. And it literally was just the last page of the issue. Like they show like one scene at the end. And I'm like, of like a tie-in to make you want to get like a Nightwing 85 or something because no one was buying it. And so, what's up, Captain? In the chat.
Oh, there he is. Hey, I sent invites to all these guys. They want to jump in.
So here, I'll show you a book I got a couple months ago if you're a Carnage guy.
Yeah. It's mostly just symbiote stuff, you know what I mean? Meaning when it comes to the Marvel stuff. Oh God, look at that.
So was that con, and it Ryan Stegman was there and Donnie Cates, and they were signing, and Stegman's like, "You want me to draw on that?" And I was like, yes, please.
Holy shit. Damn.
So it was crazy too, because like he didn't draw like the black up there and all, and I'm like, what are you doing? And like to just watch him do that in the process of how he was doing was sweet. So
what did he charge you for it?
There you go.
Yeah, what did he charge you for it?
So it was 50 for the remark.
That's it?
That was it. So I mean, he did it in 3 minutes.
You're kidding me.
No. So yeah, they were so Sig was free, and then he was doing the remarks, and you could tell the people who, like, you had shops that were coming in with like 20 books that they're getting stacked, and then you'd see someone with a blank cover in front of them, like, dang it, they're gonna spend an extra 4 minutes getting that drawn. But
that's awesome, man. See, again, it's one thing to have that book. It's another thing to have that, because you can't. Here, let me give you a cool line. One of the greatest lies we tell ourselves is that we'll remember. So when you have something like that, a book like that, or I mean, it just provokes, it just invokes that memory, that whole. And sometimes it's to a point that you can almost smell the shop, or you can remember the con, or you can, you know what I mean? And it just envelops you to where you're warm with that feeling. And you can't put a price on that. No. I mean, down the road, we may, but it's not going to be fucking cheap. I'll tell you that.
Right.
Yo, 26. How's my brother, man?
Hey, what's going on? Going on, Bearded Farmer?
How are you?
What's up, Chris?
All things good?
Oh yeah, man. I take my high blood pressure medication and my sleeping pills. Jesus Christ.
Wait, how's that work out?
Well,
they both mellow you out. I get you.
Yeah, high blood pressure I gotta take, man. But sleeping pills, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been trying not to take them, but I haven't been sleeping for like Past 6 nights, I've been like up to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then going to sleep about 5:30, and then waking up later than that. So it's just like crazy. I try not to take them because the next day it's like
You ever had the melatonin pills?
you know what? I can't even if you ask me to spell like some of my medication or pronounce it, I can't do it. I just can tell you what it's
No,
for.
they're not medication. They're just melatonin is naturally produced in your own brain. So one of the things that allows you to go ahead and regulate your sleep patterns, or your sleep.
Yeah.
But you can also buy it over the counter, and when you eat it as a supplement, it allows you to assist in your sleep for some.
Yeah.
And it's not harmful. It's not, you know what I mean? So my recommendation would be like eat a couple of those, take a dab, and then see what that does for you.
Can't mess with that dab, bro. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'll sleep heavy if I can get a hold of that, but nah. Yeah, I've heard of the melatonin. Yeah, dude, that Carnage should be as crazy, bro. I've actually got I was gonna send my Star Wars Thor #1 Star Wars era blank variant to get Stegman and them to sign it. And then Andy and them kind of talked me out of that last night. Was like, nah, you need to hold on to that. It's like if you run into like Stegman or somebody at like a con or something, like to get somebody to get a sketch put on that, hold on for that instead of just getting a signature and get it graded. So I'm gonna hold off getting that.
Yeah, if you have the blank variant, man, by all means hold off. And because
did I ever tell you my experience with that? When Kai and I went to go get our shit, we're still waiting on a couple books, but when Kai and I went to go get our shit signed with that Jim Lee and Donnie Cates event, a guy walked in with that very book, and he had Jim Lee do a sketch on there, and it was it was so nice. And as Donnie Cates was looking down over at what Jim Lee was doing, he said, wait, is that one of those air covers? And the guy who was doing, having it done, he said, yeah. Donnie Cates said, I want that book. The guy said, no. Donnie Cates says, I'll give you anything for that book. I want that book. You know how rare that book is? The guy looked at him and said, yes. He knew how rare it was going to be. So that it got a sketch by Jim Lee, signed by Jim Lee, and with signature by Donnie Cates, witnessed by CGC over at Torpedo Studios on 124 of this year.
Wow. What did he get drawn, sketched on it?
And I'm trying to remember. I'm a fucking space.
Man, he needed to get something like Thor holding a lightsaber or something. Like
it was something like that. It was.
Like,
it was something
if
like
you
that.
have that Thor, that Star Wars variant, like that's the only you have to get a crossover, a mashup. There's no way.
Yeah.
You're dropping the ball otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, the full body that I recall that Torpedo was advertising that Jim Lee would do would cost you $800 for a blank. Let me say that again. If you want a full body sketch, Jim Lee was charging, that I recall, $800 for a full body, and it was, I think, $300 for a just a bust.
Wow. Must be nice.
Let's put it this way: when you do a Torpedo signing, there's two separate lines. There's one a line that you belong to because you a membership for like $300 or $400 or something like that. Then there's another line. That other line is after the members go in, so you can wait there for 3 or 4 hours, even before you get your line starts to move.
Wow.
So my son and I, we were almost in the last of that second line. We waited over 4.5 hours before we got to go ahead and.
Yeah, man, that can eat rocks. I would not want to do that.
It would suck if it wasn't for the fact that it was something that my son and I got to hang out and do.
Yeah,
I gave him
that experience.
Across the street, he got to go buy his pizza. He got to come back, tell me it was the fucking best pizza he ever had, and he wants to start coming back and have. I mean, it's like that's what I was. You can't buy memories like that, Right. So it was like, fuck it. I'm if it takes time, I'll do it. You know what I mean? If he wanted to start this shit, I'll do it. You know what I mean? If he wants to sit there and eat pizza and then come back and tell me a story, fuck yeah.
Soak those moments in for sure.
Yeah. No, exactly. Hold on. Exactly.
I can remember my first con. That kind of like sparked everything, I think. think it was actually a local Fayetteville Comic Con, which isn't that big. We don't have like no big name like writers or artists that come, so we don't even have a CGC booth in our local con here in Fayetteville. But last year I actually enjoyed it the most of any con I've ever been to, even though there's no big name writers, no CGC booth, nothing like that. I actually had more time because this con I actually spent the time like digging in the boxes. Instead of most of the time when I would go to cons, I would stand in line, like waiting for signatures, then stand in CGC line, then go stand in more lines. So I never took the time to dig in those boxes. So at the local con here, I took the time and I had a list of books that I wanted to find. And I went through them and pretty much got all of them, almost all of them, and got deals on top of that. Was able to like get the prices that I wanted, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's where it's at. Like I've been to a couple like let's say big cons. Like I mean, no, well, you know, Donnie Cates, Stegman was at one in Louisville, and Greg Capullo was there, and Clayton Crane. So like big names. And it was a blast. And it was fun, and I was in line getting all those autographs. But one of my favorite cons was like just this. It was in Akron, Ohio, just on the floor of a gymnasium, and nothing but comic book boxes upon boxes upon boxes. And man, and then they had like 5 artists. So they had like Daryl Banks and Grant Nolan and Jim Steranko was there. So like they still had a couple big names, obviously, but it was nothing but comics. And that was where you're right, Chris, just getting to dig. And that's where it was at.
Yeah. I had a real good. It was crazy, man, because I was on the hunt. You know, I was on the hunt. I had my app, the key app. I had that. I had all my books in my want list, and I was going through them, just knocking them off. I mean, I had some that I didn't get, but the biggest con I've been through so far will be Baltimore Comic Con, and that was just so big. I had like a major anxiety attack. It was crazy. And I can imagine what C2E2 or something like that, or San Diego Comic Con would be like. Oh my God. But yeah, Baltimore Comic Con was fun because I lived in Baltimore for a little bit of time and actually went back. I took a train there because I never took a train before in my life. So I was like, I don't want to fly. You know what I mean? We'll take these comic books with me on the fly. I'm going to take a train. You know, took the train because I've never been on a train before. So it was an experience. And my friend still lives in Baltimore. So I had the place to stay and went down there and went to the con for the whole weekend and had a blast. Yeah. And actually got to meet Richard Rivera, who's the creator and the Stabby Bunny.
Nice.
I spazzed out. I was trying to ask him some questions, and I started mumbling, and I started talking about this and this character in the book, and what's this, and he was looking at me like, "Are you all right, man? You know what I'm saying? Slow down, man." So I was like, "Yeah. I'm sorry. It's like the first time I ever met you, man." I was like, bugging out, man. Great time.
I get really nervous when I get around a lot of artists and creators. I mean, I work in the entertainment industry, and I've been doing this for over 3 decades. The first job I ever had, I worked with Debbie Reynolds.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is I've worked with big name people. You know, you almost name it, I've probably worked with them. Meaning, so my point being is when I meet an artist or a creator in the comic industry, it's like I'm a fucking idiot.
It's like you're on a first date again. You know what to say.
And my brain goes a whole nother different direction. So Chris, I get you, brother. I'm in this. I do the same fucking thing, and I don't know what it is. I really don't know. I don't.
We all do that. I mean, it's like because you're like, what do you say half the time? You're like, oh, you draw Venom really good. Like he hasn't heard that every single person that walks by you. Like I think you're a really good writer. Like okay, like what? Like so you almost have to like do something so obscure, and then you're like, oh, is he gonna think I'm a complete idiot for doing that? Like it is. It's a first date all over. You're trying to impress them, but not look too like too anxious to meet them and excited, and you're still trying to play it cool.
Well, when I go to some of these signing events by myself, I still tripping over my tongue. But when I have my son there, it's different. And the reason why it's different is I have him to help me. You know what I mean? Because when it's him, we'll hit people with sideways questions. You know, like, what's your favorite topping on a pizza? If you're on the beach and you're walking through sand, are you looking for shells or rocks? You know, just way out there shit that it helped me to be able to humanize these people and remember, oh yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? Because I end up deifying them. I end up putting on these pedestals, and I'm like, you know what I mean? It helps. Having him helps.
And I think just understanding too that the creators, I mean, they do it. I'll say for most of them, I feel like do it because they love it, and they love. You know, at one of the cons I was going to go meet, Tim Grummett did the art for Robin back in the 90s of mid-90s series. Mm-hmm. And I had a beat up reader issue, and I'm like, I got to go get like a premium, you know, near mint to get him if I'm going to have him sign it. And I just couldn't. And I brought this issue that was just beat up, and he looks at it and like, he's almost in tears. He's like, holy cow, like you've read this all the time. And he's like, I don't get people to sign books like that. And it meant so much more because it was a book I had since I was like 8 that I read it nonstop. And that was like, by not being able to get a premium book, it was almost like, oh, hey, it sparked a conversation that then we talked for 30 minutes at his booth about stuff. And like, that's where it's like just remembering that they love it too, for the most part.
That's crazy because I hear a lot of people talk about, man, when I was 6 and when I was 8, when I first met this character, and after we got off Comic Corps last night, me and Andy, like we stayed on live after the rest of us got off, like Dustin got off. Me and Andy, we talked to like 1 o'clock in the morning, and really got to know each other, like, you know. And I was kind of telling, like, you know, some of this how I grew up, you know what I mean, and like. I was like, a lot of stuff I missed out on as a kid. I said, it's like now I'm trying to make up for lost time. You know what I mean? Now I feel like I'm running out of time because we was talking about, like, I had this fear, like, any day could be my last. Like, what am I going to do with my whole collection if the worst happens? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I hear people talk about, man, when I first got to meet, and a lot of the characters I actually first got turned on to. I mean, I don't know if you count the funnies in the newspaper, like Calvin and Hobbes, and
absolutely,
Charlie Brown and Heathcliff. I remember reading those in the newspaper. I remember watching all the cartoons. Though, I was a big cartoon buff. I love cartoons. And then Three Stooges, bro. Three Stooges couldn't take me away from that, man. I love Three Stooges, but I don't know if they made a comic book off of that. But yeah,
I'm sure there has to be a comic book somewhere.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
And Tom and Jerry, bro. God, man, I love Tom and Jerry. The Jetsons, Fraggle Rock. Does anybody remember Fraggle Rock?
Yeah, they just they revamped this new series here on Apple Plus.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so they just dropped it about a couple weeks ago, and I haven't had. I mean, I'm just been slammed with so much I haven't checked, but I want to say like they were doing stuff like doing it in quarantine stuff. So, yeah, you'll have to just check it. I'm sure you can at least find stuff. What's up, Kurt?
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
What's up, bro?
Greetings, sir. How are you, man? It's great to see you, man.
Happy Friday.
Oh, hey. Yeah, hey, cheers.
Salud.
I like that glass. He got like something we be drinking some moonshine out of.
Everybody is like, you drinking moonshine? I'm like, nah, I'm just drinking some water. And they make the best glass. I'm good. I've been working, so I'm tired, and I got finished reading. One of my new roommates, she loaned me The Boys. I never read it, so I read this is the trade, and it's man. My mind is blown right now. I love it. It's dark, definitely dark, you know.
Super dark.
I like the twist on it, you know.
Yeah. Have you watched the
show? I want to read it. No, I want to read it before. I wanted to read that to get a taste before I watch the show. My roommates was like, they'll rewatch it with me. So
yeah,
but I haven't watched it.
So I mean,
have you guys seen it?
I've seen both, or I've seen and read the book. So yeah,
I haven't read it.
Okay.
So it's good. It's
not
definitely
me at all.
They definitely take it in its own path and stuff that you know in the second omnibus, you know, in the second volume you're reading, it's like, oh wait, that's in season 1, and so they flip stuff around because you got to do that with stuff. So
Yeah, I've heard the books like way better. That's what my cousin said.
It's buck wild, but you can tell they tone down, which is weird to say because if you see the show, like it's probably one of the craziest.
Well, I'm not surprised because I actually watched Lock and Key before.
Okay.
I haven't read the books, so I want to read the books. I heard the books are like way darker than the TV show, and I'm like, I want to see the darkness.
Yeah, so it is.
So,
I put the script on that one.
Really difficult to go. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was reading Lock and Key and then going to watch the show, and that kind of made me not like the show as much because I was like, oh, this isn't what I was expecting.
Interesting.
And it's really hard to actually get to properly tell a story that was originally from just either literature or a graphic novel and actually go to a movie and or series. You know what I mean? Not always does it translate because what it has to go through. It's rare that the artist or creator has a hand in it, and when they do, there's such a novice in the understanding of the industry that their understanding of what it takes to actually make it happen is far from what it actually takes from making it happen. So it's a really catch-22 of going, no, it's nothing like the book. Well, yeah. Or it was exactly like the book, but it was poorly acted, or they didn't have the budget for the special effects, They don't.
I don't think a lot of people look into those factors.
Yeah,
they just like start whipping.
Yeah,
aggressive.
I mean,
aren't they making a Sandman TV show?
So they're making maybe they are, but aren't they doing they just announced the audio book that they were doing.
Interesting.
So like James McAvoy is voicing it. They just dropped a big list of heavy hitters.
Huh. It does sound interesting. Wow. Yeah, I know that they're, because a lot of things now are, you always hear the word option, and all that really means is someone is securing the rights to something.
Right.
It doesn't mean that anything is developed. You know what I mean? So a lot of things will be just secured and then locked in. A lot of times these terms are somewhere in between that 4, 5, or 8 year mark, because it's more like a legality, almost like federal. You know what I mean? The 7-year term. And that's how the time period they like to lock things in on. So it's rare that you hear things go right to production. Now, one of the things that I am stoked for is Philadelphia. And the reason why is it has
Rodney.
I slept on that book, man.
It's going to production. And the cool thing is Rodney Barnes is not just a writer. He's not just an individual that can do storyboards. He's not just an individual that knows how to write for
TV and
scripts. You know what I mean?
Worked on the Runaway.
He's a well-rounded entertainment industry individual. He knows how it works. He's short of being a producer himself, as far as just not having the funding. And the guy actually has it up here to be able to do it. He knows what it takes. He just doesn't. I don't think he knows the people, which would be a whole different thing. You know what I mean? But cool thing is what I'm getting at is this might be one of those few times where we all actually see something as good as it is in the book, actually as good, if not better, translation. You know what I mean? Because who knows what he had as a real budget behind Philadelphia when it was first being released? You know what I mean?
How many issues came out
right into production as opposed to just being optioned then go to production? You know that there's going to be a decent amount of finance to be able to budget behind it.
Kirk, I think there's either 5 or 6 out right now.
Wow, I just remember the first 2 issues coming out. I
And
didn't think that many came out.
And I'm pretty sure Rodney was also one of the main people behind the Wu-Tang series that was on Hulu.
That series is really good.
Yeah,
and so but
my brother.
That just goes to your point, too, about just how he's in the game and he knows how to take that what he's writing. And what's really cool about him too is anytime I mention Philadelphia or tag, he is the first person that will retweet and message
yeah.
Which is cool.
There's only one more issue. You're right. There's one more issue. I'm sorry to interrupt. One more issue to come out. They've done 5. Philadelphia, I believe, ends on issue 6. Yeah, because I have all
might
that
buy it
stuff.
and trade then.
I recommend it.
Yeah.
This is another one of those fine examples
nice.
of Kai and I going to a shop and Rodney being there and Jason Sean Alexander was there.
Okay.
And I was that guy that actually walked in with a fucking stack. But I had Spawn, what was that? Spawn 292 through 301. And I had all 3 issues, A, B, and C of all 3. So I walked in with all that shit. And then I already had 2 issues of Philadelphia, one for my son and one for me. He won't let me touch his. It's his books. So and then we bought
this is in my collection.
We put them all in the same box, but he'll tell me, he'll say, if this is a signature book, then we're only reading 1, and I read it first, and then he hands it to me, and sometimes you'll actually see how I'm handling it. I'm under the gun. It sucks.
Yeah, Rodney was live on Instagram not long ago, and I was posting like a lot of comments while he was live, and the girl was asking him. He was like, "Danny, some good question." I was like, the character Seesaw, is he the only? Oh, you haven't read the book, right? Comics on the Mind. Everybody freeze up.
He hasn't.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I wonder if he ain't ready. I'm gonna shut up. Never mind. I'm gonna shut up.
No, I haven't read it.
Yeah, no, don't give away anything.
Yeah. That was all right. Well, I want to.
I gotta pick that up.
Forced to write something.
The story is another one of those finely written stories in the sense that it's multi-level. And mind, you've heard me speak many times on this level when I actually speak of certain writers that know how to write on multiple levels. Whether onion writers, as you always hear me say.
Yeah.
On the surface, it's one thing, and you can read it as such. On the next level, it's another, and you can go, okay, these are the symbolic meanings, and then they'll hit you with certain underlining either philosophical or metaphorical things that you go, oh, fuck, this actually relates to this and how people were treated or certain characters. The reason why he chooses certain characters in history and certain diseases is how certain people were treated throughout history and how they were viewed. So certain slangs and all that are also thrown into how people actually look on the negative side of like vampirism and things like that. Try to keep shit like that in the head when you're reading it, and you'll be like, oh, fucking A, okay.
Yeah, I've always loved vampires, bro. Anything got to do with vampires, man. Like Bram Stoker's Dracula, man. That was one of my favorite movies growing up.
That was a classic.
Yeah. Did you watch that 3-part episode on Netflix? What was it called?
You talking about Castlevania?
Nah.
Or you talking about the Dracula one?
Yeah.
No, I remember Robert G. Spot was talking about it. He loved it. Well, part of it anyway.
I heard it wasn't.
I haven't got a chance to see it.
Yeah, I actually think
I heard mixed things too.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was more like a real horror-y, scary movie, but I actually laughed more than anything.
Oh, wow. Comic Crazy just said it's great.
What?
In the chat.
Yeah. Hey, different strokes for different folks, man. Not everybody's going to like it. I don't like mushrooms. Like I say, a lot of you probably like mushrooms.
I love mushrooms.
Fucking hate mushrooms, bro.
Yeah.
I don't like the taste, but I like the effect.
Yeah, dude, I'm here looking at the boys trade right here, man. I'm gonna try to get my hands on it myself, bro. I mean, actually, I got 1 through 4 here. The boys volume 1 through 4 comic trade paperback, $7.95.
Yep.
So
Actually, what I'm looking for, 1 through 4 at a cheap price, is that Annihilation Conquest Wraith. It fucking
Oh,
blew up. I
yes.
screwed up.
Good luck.
6 months
want
ago. I was looking at it, and I could have picked it up for $40, and
Same here.
I don't know what
Same
I was
here.
thinking. I meant to get it because I'd already pre-ordered and set I already
have
had
a-
myself pre-ordered. I don't know. I space out at times, man. But
It's just something
yeah,
like,
I'm
like for me, it's just
One.
budget wise, and I just can't pick it all up.
It might have been that. I might have been looking at other things. I actually hit up a guy on eBay that has a Ghost Rider 9.0 for $500, and it's been sitting there for the past 3.5 months. And I messaged him and I tried to really lowball him. And he said, "You know what? Hit me up in a month and raise that up another $200, and let's talk." And I'm thinking, wait a minute, that almost puts it right back at the same price.
Hey, 1, 2. I'm gonna have
Well,
to.
I see what
don't-
you did there.
It is. I'm on East Coast time, and it's gonna be early morning for me. So
It's 12:52 right now.
I appreciate you
yeah.
having me on.
Shout out to all my East Coast people out here.
See you guys. Pleasure as always.
You take care, Beat It.
Yep.
Pete,
Nice to see you, man.
I swear I got to get my beard back, man. I'm starting to be shamed by all these guys with these wonderful beards, these handsome beards, and I'm over here.
I thought I shaved my head.
I noticed. I kind of liked when you had the hair on top, man. It was looking good. I was digging it.
The men in my family go bald like fast, so like no hair. I have to explain this to my students because when I get lazy and don't shave it, like it'll start growing back, and they're third graders, so they're like, "Why is it not growing here? Like you need to let this all grow out." I'm like, I literally can't do it. It doesn't grow. Like, but I like the bald look. It works for me.
Dude,
And
thank
it's
God.
Hey,
now
no,
that it's getting hotter out here.
Yeah, that's what I say. Thank God I don't have a funny shaped head myself. So my hair grows like extremely quick. Like I could shave, and the next day I've already got whiskers popping out. Man, I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. It's crazy. So it just don't do
See,
nothing.
that's what I can't get away with. I got an ugly head, man. I got to keep some hair on top, and then I got to throw a hat on top of that.
Yeah, I haven't learned the proper technique of how to shave your head. Like the last time because I'll use clippers to get it down low, or as close as I can. But when I use a razor, I always seem to cut myself. Man, I have like little bleeding spots in the back of my head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Need to learn from Rod.
Yeah.
Rod's got.
Regardless, I need to. Yeah, I'll knit myself sometimes. 'Cause I use a razor, but I upgraded my. I used to use a cheap razor, and with the cheaper razors, like you're more likely to nick yourself. So I just got one of them Gillette ones, the ones that just push the button and it vibrates and just shave all that shit off.
That's like these razors nowadays are so expensive, man. You almost gotta have like.
That's why
Credit, put one on your credit or something like that, man.
exactly like
expensive, bro.
they are not for real. Like I did not want to buy it. I was just like. My pockets is like, hey, can't do it right now. But I had to, like, because like, dealing with this is like, because my hair grows like it's like kinky, so it's like it's hard. The longer it grows, it's harder to cut. So I had to stay on top of it, and the more expensive razors work better.
But dude, let me.
So I do want to get that. What is that? What's that?
I don't know what it's called myself. I think your finger goes through like a loop or something like that. It's got like a curve to it. I'm not really sure if that's it or not. But I was about to say, dude, let me tell you, the beard looks amazing. You know, Jesus Christ.
Oh, thank you. What I need to get some clippers so I can line it up. It'll look a lot better. But I mean, it's grown so far. This is like my third attempt to growing a beard.
Oh damn!
Because you got to shave it off to like let it grow back a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I don't want. I thought about trimming it down. It always does, especially when it's hot. Like
okay.
Kills like that. I got nothing here.
It does,
Right.
but
I can't do it because it itches, man.
clean it in the morning.
Hey, what would be a good price to pay for those the boys trades, bro? Because I mean, I want to get it, man. But just getting the comics itself, is that like expensive? $37.95, $6 shipping in Canada.
I think it's
For
6
all of them?
issues, right?
For each per trade, yeah. It's 6 issues per trade. At least the one that I'm reading right now, it's like 6.
Now, was that
Or is
all
it
the
8?
trades or all the issues? How many trades was that trades or?
This is the trade that I'm reading. Do you want the issue, or are you, Chris? You trying to get the issues, or are you trying to get the trade?
Yeah, I think it says the boys volume 1 through 4 comic trade paperback. It was like,
Yeah. Because I only have volume 1. Well, it's not mine; it's my roommate's.
Well, that's less. That's like $9. No, that's good.
Is it?
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. How much are you paying for shipping though?
it's like $6 shipping, but it's
I don't
coming
think
from
these.
Canada, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go.
Well, trades are, if there's
Oh,
6
so-
issues to each trade, you got 4 of those. That's a lot of weight for $6. That's a good deal.
Yeah, Colombia,
Yeah.
Canada. Yeah, very good. I mean,
Corona beer.
I really wouldn't care. All books are in very good condition. See photos. I really wouldn't care about it being like no near mint condition. I just want to read the story myself.
Yeah.
Unless it's a trade that I'm not going to read, meaning it's signed or something, I don't give a shit. I'm going to read it, and I don't need it to be in impeccable condition. I want the story. If it's something I want to collect, I get the floppies and because of the art. But if it's in a trade, it's like it's in a trade.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm trying to get in the habit of buying more trades because there's certain books that I honestly just can't afford to get every single issue. And if I'm like I don't have like a huge interest in it, but I still want to read it, like I'll just buy it in trade because some trades are a lot cheaper versus just buying like 10, 20 single issues.
Yeah. They was talking about that last.
So I really like it. Oh, where?
The boys. Yeah. Okay.
Boys, good one.
Yeah.
In my opinion on things like that is it's like when you look at the majority of good stories that are out there when you talk indies, it's in my opinion it's a good idea to go ahead and pick a lot of these things up as trades because when you think of the speculation monetary type aspect of it of trying to flip these things and make money, unless it's an immediate flip, a lot of these things won't hold anything on long term when it comes to indies. It's if you were to say and I'm just taking a number for the example, if there was as many as 36 titles to be released in the time period of a year, 3 to 5 of those titles may be something that may
I don't hear what you're saying. Is it mine? Is it my computer?
It's probably my internet. My internet's probably.
Oh no, Kevin. I think you're.
Oh, it's his mic.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. It's muted.
I was about to say it would have been hilarious. Just let him keep going. No, I'm joking.
Hold on, I mean.
Here, oh damn, the jig is up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kev, you might.
There we go.
Oh, were you messing with us, man?
my point really was is if you're gonna do indies, you might as well do trades. If you're gonna do the big boys, there you can kind of, if you want, play with a little bit of spec stuff, and that's a better way of thinking of how to save money.
Well, I think it was kind of like what the topic of the show was last night, and I kind of had everything on my mind. And once we went action, like everything that I had thought about what I was going to say was totally went out the window. So, but like say, Punisher Soviet, Garth Ennis, Max book I had just read. I think it was issues 1 through 6. I would kind of had rather had like that or possibly War of the Realms that y'all were talking about earlier. I may have possibly rather had that in the comics. I'm loving Detective Comics. I love some of the cover art, but I don't see like some of those. And I mean, Peter Tomasi's really killing it on the writing. You know what I mean? But I don't see like some of those books there like going up in value. I mean, not like what Batman's doing right now.
Yeah, I agree. Well, unless you're like you have a connection to the story, because I love War of the Realms. One of my favorite reads, only because like it was a build up in Thor for so long. You know, we were all waiting. Like, when is this? There's people talking about this war. When is it going to happen? And it was like a 2-3 year build up, and then they actually put it out. And so I was like already invested, and I'm like, okay, I want to read this. I want to read this. So I got all the like the side stories, like the tie-ins, and because I liked it, you know.
Yeah. I did too. I did too. But
And I can say the same thing about my whole box full of Absolute Venom, you know, or Absolute Carnage. I'm sorry. Yeah, you know,
I was just about to say that.
You know, I really love the tales. I like the tales that started it up, meaning all the way back to Free Comic Book Day. That started it.
Yeah, I got
You know what I
those
mean?
going up.
And it went all the way up through all these tales that I loved them all. Did I have to buy freaking everything as far as a connecting cover, an A cover, a ratio? No. Would I do it again? Maybe.
Like I said, it's different strokes for different folks, bro. Like I kind of like,
and
I got beat out on the War of the Realms tie-ins. You know, I kind of tried to stick to the thing just because my pool is. I mean, once we get back to pool list, I've kind of like shimmed it down a little bit, but my pull list at the time was crazy, like crazy books I was getting, and I'm like, I really got to pick and choose what I really tried to cut off the cover buying. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like a cover, like some of these Perillo covers, I'll pick them up. You know what I'm saying? And because I love his art. You know what I mean? But a lot of the covers, I was like, man, dude, can you live with it or can you live without it? I mean, what's it going to be? You know, if I can live without it, fine. Just pass up. You
know what, Chris? No. I got a challenge for you. This is what I'm going to do. All those Perillo covers that you would normally buy, don't buy them. Hold on, don't buy them. But hold on, take all that money that you would normally buy and put it in a separate fund. When you get close to the end of the year, go to Perillo's store and see what you can buy from them is something original, something that you can do. Buy a $500-$600 original piece that you can hang up in your room, as opposed to just a few comics that won't hold their value.
Yeah. I got you.
I mean, because I'm telling you, you'll dig that shit. There'll be people that'll be going, damn. I mean, I know I will be. If you're holding a cover, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's a cool cover. But if you're holding some original art from someone that you truly love, fuck yeah. Oh shit. And that, you know, and that's kind of some of the things I've been able to do is I've been able to find some of these artists that I dig, and I ask if they can hook me up sometimes. And I mean, those are some of the things I really do cherish. Looks like you're whipping something out there. What you got there?
That was like some what I was talking about. Like,
what's he looking at?
That Red Sonja Age of Chaos joint there he did. That Green Lantern, pretty hot.
Right there.
There's
your thorns, yeah.
That one there is not really too special, but I mean, shit's still kind of dope. And then I got like 3 copies by him and Donnie Cates, CBCS that are signed. So, comment crazy. I agree with Chris. This whole flute thing has changed my buying habits, or the flair of the hype isn't as much, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
No, I'm with you, crazy, because it's allowed us actually to put things in perspective. You know, like even getting back to mine. Yeah. Man, you know, I'm going to jump back on what you were saying, and just to touch on what a lot of people have been doing is you're hearing people talk more trade than they've ever done before. You didn't hear people talking about trades all the time or omnibuses all the time.
But you know what the trip.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that the mentality is shift, and it's allowed people to go ahead and reevaluate their spending habits, their reading habits. They're appreciative of art and what they have to spend for it. You know, and that's what I'm saying is, you know, there's times when I would rather just go, all right. There's a guy that I really enjoy. His artist name and the artist's name is Chris Johnson, and I really love his art. If I can go ahead and hold on a couple dollars, if I run into him and I find something that I really know that it's his forte of doing, I want him to do a piece for me. And I would rather sacrifice a bunch of maybe cover buys that I would normally want to do and save that money off to the side and actually give that money to him, you know what I mean? And then get what I really want, which is a piece of art that I can say, you know, look, this is something that I cherish because this is someone I enjoy. And I'm also helping the guy out. And it's something that if it's on a story that everyone's looking for or a story that I dig, even more the better. But that's kind of just that icing on the cake shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to that. I guess that's me. That's how I collect, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like I just sent off like 78 books to get graded. And I got 10 I'm sending off to get Kate's in the sign. I guess kind of nervous.
You sent out a shitload of books to get signed and
Yeah.
graded.
I mean,
I've never had anything graded. I have a couple of graded books, but I've never sent anything out.
yeah. Oh, dude, I totally understand. I know a lot of people that I've heard people say, dude, why would you get a book graded? You can't read it if it's in its plastic. Again, it just falls on different strokes for different folks, man. Like whatever your preference is, bro.
Yeah.
I'm totally for whatever somebody else wants to do with their money. You know what I mean? I am totally, dude.
Well, I want to grade my my Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 33, because when I got it, I didn't even realize I was a new collector. I didn't realize like what value I had, but they were like, dude, that's like a classic cover right there. I was like, oh, slapping that, and it's not in the best grade, but it's it'll be protected.
Yeah,
because I'm clumsy and I don't I don't want to get that one messed up.
Well, we're also talking
earlier,
about low grade type stuff, and I end up the first con that I did a signing event with my son, meaning purposely did some signatures to be witness and so forth with my son. I got a Scotty Young book, and I knew the quality of the book was low, but it was an excuse to go ahead and have my son meet him. So I got the book graded so I can seal up that memory. It wasn't a matter of sealing up the book or anything, it was sealing up the memory.
Yeah.
So even though I only have, I think I got an 8.5 on that book. That book is a fucking 9.8 plus for me because of the memory that's attached to it. You know what I mean? So like you're saying again too, Chris, we all collect for different reasons. Yeah. I sent my Venom 3 out, and Kai sat with me for that 4.5 hours to have it signed, and we had a great time. I don't mind waiting all this time for it to come back, and no, I can never read that book again. However, I have another Venom 3 third print that I don't mind reading, and I sealed that moment up. So, like you're saying, everyone's flavor is a little different. We all generate this market. We're all still making it spin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like
for real. And I'm like, no, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, because I used to be like rebellious towards like, reading digital, and now I have like Marvel Unlimited, and I use that to like read a lot of that. I'm reading the Venom story. I ain't never read it. That's why I didn't really care when Absolute Carnage came out. Like a lot of I had like the first issue, and that's it. It was pretty good, the first issue I read, but I was like, I don't know what's going on because I didn't read the like Venom, Mm-hmm. And so now that I'm reading it, I'm like, geez, this is fucking good. Like, and so I wouldn't mind like if I came across a slab like Venom 3 first print and grab that because I've already read it digitally. I don't mind. But
Right.
eventually I want to collect those books because I have issue 1, and then like I jumped on at 23.
Well, if you want to
So,
get familiar,
yeah,
with,
collect your way.
Carnage, I recommend go through Carnage USA 1 through 4. Is it 1 through 4 or 1 through 5? 1 through 5, I think. Anyways, go through the Carnage USA stuff, and then the Free Comic Book Day Carnage book for 2019. Then you go through all the Absolute Carnage, and that will all make sense.
Yeah. Absolutely,
Yeah.
damn good, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think you said I never read Carnage Mind Bomb, or did I? I don't know if it was a.
Well, they have the facsimile out. I highly recommend it because a lot of what this Absolute Carnage nutcase shit came out of was Mind Bomb because it came out of the whole Ravencroft thing. You know, so that starts to end Mind Bomb.
And I wanted to read that. I wanted to read that, but it was like
the
I had a lot
facsimile
of books.
sheet. And you know, coincidentally, since we're speaking about all this, you know, and we're talking about the whole symbiote thing, one of my favorite stories that's out right now is Scream. Now, Scream is written by a gentleman named, and he writes novels and stuff, but his name is Clayton Chapman, middle name McLeod. McLeod? Might be McLeod. Anyways, Mr. Chapman has graciously bestowed upon us a interview of next Saturday. So we're going to be talking Scream.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm fucking stoked on that because I keep saying I'm a symbiote slut. So when it comes to one, I want to talk to him about his background in novels and he's got a vast depth of writing, and then two, I'm really curious of how that transitions into what he's doing right now of doing the Scream tale, because outside of what Donny Cates is doing and doing with Null, Scream is, to me, the second most significant storyline in the symbiote universe happening right now. And there's so much going in there. These are, I don't know why they're not considered. Almost every issue should be a fucking key. He's writing these things killer.
Yeah, her first appearance was Lethal Protector. Was it number 4 or number 5?
Yeah, number 4.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was number 5. It was number 5, I think.
I was like
number
a bunch
5, maybe.
of
It's one of those books.
Yeah.
I have all that stuff.
It's all of them. Like it's the whole crew, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's all part of the whole. It's the whole 14 plus the 2 books that tell the whole Carnage run. You know what I mean? I have all those books, but yeah, it's all that shit. That's what I mean. All that shit leads in. It starts at 252, and then 8 as far as the Star Wars. That's another one. I never got that clean and press. I just slabbed it because I was afraid I was ruining it, and I had Jim Shooter sign it. So I was like, "Fuck, just slab it. Just take this book and slab it." If I was to clean and press that, I'm sure I can get like a 9.4, because it's an 8.5, and I didn't even clean and press it after what, 1984. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever that is.
Yeah, I was like my ASM 300 back there. Actually, I had it pressed and it graded, and it came back in 9.0, and I was like, all right, I paid like $264, and I'm like, damn, okay, all right, whatever. And so I ended up sending off to get Todd McFarlane or T McFarlane's signature, and pressed again.
No.
So I mean, I don't know. Was it the press that helped, or was it the person that graded it the first time? Was it a 9.2 all along, or is it a 9.4 right now? I don't know, man. Like, dude, like I say, I sent a lot of books off to CGC, but it's like my faith in them. I've gotten books back that were 9.8s, and clearly they were not 9.8. So it just depends on the grader or the person that has it, or the day they had. I don't know. I hear there's like a lot of things that come into factor, man. It's just Jesus Christ, but it's just.
I've heard the same thing too. Because I know shit about grading, but
yeah.
Well, there are books out there that are purposely made to look like that they are worn. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that they've, is tattered cover or the worn cover. That is actually a manufactured cover sometimes. So it looks that way, but it's not.
Right.
So there have been books that have been sent in and came back on low grades because it looked like it was a low grade book, but it was a brand new book.
I'd be pissed.
They were. They sent it back. They're
I
like,
just
"Wait,
bought
you
this."
didn't realize this is a fucking exactly. It's a brand new book. I'm like, I can't believe this.
Damn. Yeah, I just
Yeah, 4.0 shit.
I was just in there reading. I just read. Let's see what I've actually been watching a lot of Star Wars, Clone Wars, like because like I grew up like watching the Star Wars movies.
The cartoon or the anime, the 3D show.
Yeah, like was it Boba Fett, Jango Fett, or which one's the dad? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it, man. If you ask me who Darth Vader is, obviously I know. Chewbacca, okay, yeah. Han Solo, got it. Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, dude, I got it. But you start asking me about the Republic and et cetera, and the big war and the clone, it's like I'm not like got that much experience in it as a lot of other people because they don't really.
Yeah.
But I've been watching. I'm on like season 3, episode 3 right now. And it's pretty interesting, So I think I'm gonna go back and like watch all those movies, like rewatch all those movies, and just try to just learn. Because I mean, I'm getting really into it, and it's just a cartoon at the moment. You know what I mean? So. And
yeah, my wife actually.
I've been watching Flash.
Oh,
my wife suggested that we sit down and watch it, and she's like, "Hey, how about if we watch all those movies?" Who are you?
All of them? It's like, let's grab some popcorn.
Yeah, so we're getting pretty geared up to go ahead and do so. One of my dreams is actually once I get my backyard shit done, I have 3 screens. One screen is actually made to be put up into my backyard, and I can shoot a projector out there, and we can kick back at night with the fire pit going on and watch movies.
That's
what I mean? So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now. I've actually starting to clean that area out. I have my tree guy hopefully coming over tomorrow, and we'll chop down the tree that's blocking that area.
Oh yeah, Comic Crazy. Yeah, I cracked the slab. I think the first slab I've ever cracked, and probably the only slab I've ever cracked that I know of. And I actually learned how to crack it by watching a YouTube video to send off the Todd McFarlane signature, and it came back in 9.8.
I don't have to practice. My very first slab that I won in a contest, like it's already like cracked. But I didn't want to open it. I don't want to open it until I actually send some books off to get CGC, because it's first Nitro. It's not that greatest key, and but it's still pretty cool.
Oh,
it
is
super villain.
Cool.
Yeah,
nice.
But it has more symbolic, sentimental value because it's my very first slab I ever got.
Hey, I always remember you first, or at least some people do.
Yeah,
your slab tends to be like your chick. You tend to remember.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people do. I just really can't.
Exactly. No, I got you. You're right.
Maybe I'm
actually out of the Chris. I want to hit you up because I know you mentioned this a couple times before that you sent in as many as 78 slabs. Out of those, how many are you considering?
I remember that.
How many are you considering keeping? And how many are you selling?
Well, let's see. You got those I sent, then we got the 10 that I'm gonna send to Donnie Cates and Stegman. Definitely gonna keep at least 2 or 3 out of these for sure. But I mean, I'm gonna hold on because most of them have been on number 3, so I'm gonna hold on to them until the right time. So if I get ready to get rid of them, it's gonna be the exact right the time I feel at least because let's see when we're gonna see about Noel. You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna get him on the big screen or what the hell, because I think everybody's hyped thinking he's gonna show up in the new Venom movie. I don't know, and then some people think he might show up in the end credits. I don't know. I don't think they'd break him out that early. But now out of the 78, just straight graded. Oh God, at least I know there's at least 10 out of that I know I want to keep. So the rest are, it's just all about timing. You know what I mean? Make sure the right timing. But yeah, it was pretty much an investment. You know what I mean? But I got like my first appearance of Miles
That's
Morales.
what I figured.
First appearance of Silk. You know what I mean? A lot of great keys in there, and a lot of
I want that book.
Yeah, Venom, Spider-Verse books that I'm holding on to till we get animated and stuff like that. So, yeah. Because I mean, I turned around. I actually got all these books.
First, Gwen Stacy. That's Spider.
I didn't get that one. I don't get that. I definitely got to get that one. I actually want to get find me a good copy of Secret Wars 8, like a nice newsstand, possibly a 9.8. And if I see a book that I can take the chance and get it pressed myself, or I like to gamble and go for the 9.8 sometimes myself. The possible 9.8 with CGC instead of buying already graded, because it's just if I can get it cheaper and get it graded and save that extra money on and getting a book, and I'm pretty sure, because I can normally look at a book and tell what if it's a 9.8, but what does that mean? You know what I mean? Because God knows what CGC. I mean, they're not perfect, but if you tell me to look at something, hey, is this a 5.5? I can't, 6.5, 8.9. I can't tell you none of that, but I can tell you if it's damn near perfect. You know what I'm saying? I know that much. I mean, who don't? Just don't look for the bins, the good sharp corners, nice pages, interior, the back, and all that. Yeah. But most of these we sent off. We actually sat down and we went over them, looked at them. I had my cousin look at them. I put my glasses on because I can't see up close without them. I looked at them and we both went over them and decided which ones needed to be pressed and which ones didn't. And hopefully we'll see if we're right. Because I think maybe 10 of them, possibly out of those, I think was the ones that we thought needed to press. And I used my LCS owner TJ to press them. Instead of going through CGC.
Did you make predictions before you sent them in? What you think you're going to get back?
Yeah, I was like, which ones we thought would be close as possible in at least 9.6 or 9.8. Because I didn't want to send nothing off if it wasn't going to be like a 9.8.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of really hoping to get back as many 9.8s as possible. So I'm praying hard. Wow, that's great. I'm just saying because I have one that I think got hit with a weak grade. Oh God. Yeah, that's what I say, man. You never know with CGC. But yeah, what I was saying earlier, before I got on here, I was actually watching the Clone Wars final season, I think, and I just read Star number 3, issue number 3, Undone by Blood, which is pretty good, and Shows-In, which is the Mad Cave Studios book that I got from Dylan. Pretty good, man. Dad and Woven.
Now, Star is one of those that is no longer the issue as far as a hard copy. Star, they're no longer going to issue as a hard copy, meaning it's only digital only now. Star is one of them. Ant-Man is another one. Ghost Spider issue number 9, I believe, is another one. These are all issues I was waiting on, and because they disrupted them for me, I'm no longer buying them.
Oh, damn. Yeah. I'm good, man. Yeah, Star, dude, I don't know, man. I think the buildup of her being like this major villain is seemed like, well, then we had the whole Corona lockdown, so
it didn't get to develop. I think issue 4 is where it was going to develop, and that's going to be on digital now. So that's the issue is, what if a key character in issue 4 or 5, let's say a Star, develops, and then now what is that? A digital only issue, and we can never long have it as a floppy. What if that turns into Venom of Tomorrow? You know what I mean? It's like, are you kidding me? How could you guys do this? I know in Ant-Man they were introducing 3 new characters that I've never seen before. So it's just a bummer because I was enjoying these storylines and they're no longer around. So what I found is
you're talking about the most recent Ant-Man?
Yeah. What I found is one of the fundamentals that started my son and I to do this channel, to engage in conversations about comic books. They're taken away from us because how much conversation can I feel that I can have with my son when it's just in our own home, as opposed to when we're at the comic shops and we're looking through the books and we're discovering new things that we never had before, you know. And it's,
Yeah.
again, it's beyond the stories, it's beyond the art. It's the stories that we develop to the stories. It's the imagination that we have that are associated with the artists, because we have to bridge certain panels sometimes with our own mind, right? So I mean, these things are going to be lost when it's just fed to us digitally, and we have to blow it up with our fingers. And it's, I mean, I'm not hating on anybody that chooses. I'm just saying, when they don't no longer give options and say we're going to be a one-dimensional media only, that's when they're going to lose me.
Yeah. That's what they're going to lose a lot of, like, you know, not even collectors, but readers, you know. That's the problem. Yeah, that's the thing you don't want to lose, is the readers. The collectors are one thing, because if they're hardcore collectors, they're going to go after it. But if a reader who's someone that's just coming and trying to read the story, like, they can't get it the way that they like, which is most of us like to read physical copies, like, it's going to be an issue, because they're going to lose readers.
Yeah.
You know,
I enjoy my son yelling at me because I'm handling the book wrong, as opposed to him not yelling at me because I'm handling his iPad wrong.
Don't drop the iPad, Dad.
Exactly. Totally different, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I enjoy some of the complaints that we have. I mean, think about it. None of us actually complain that we have too many books. What we complain about is we don't have enough room. What we complain about is sometimes we don't have the monetary means to read all the things that we want and purchase or enjoy as art, right? Mm-hmm. We're not complaining that we don't enjoy the medium as a hard copy more times than not, or the fact that they're taking up the room that, don't get me wrong, we would like to have. We just need more room. You know, you guys feel me? So what I'm really getting at is the fact that when you eliminate that as a medium, because sometimes we want that dilemma of going, shit, we have to get rid of books. Even though we don't, we do. It's a weird, it's that catch-22. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've yet to sell a book, but that doesn't mean that I won't. And it doesn't mean that my son at this point hasn't hit me up about, hey, we need to go through some of our shit. But that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all collecting, we're all kind of in part hoarding, but we all really, what it really truly means is we value. And I think part of the community is we value each other, and we value what each other's perspectives and reading material is. And we not only want to share that as information, but we want to share that as information. We can't really have very good conversations if it's all virtual.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, it does. Like, a lot of how I collect, or what I collect, or what I read is like inspired through you guys, like people in the community. And, you know, I would have never read Canto if it wasn't for you. You know, I talk about that shit all the time, but it's real. Like, I would have never read it, and like it was a bomb. Like, it's still right here. Like, I've read it like twice already, dude. Like, I love this story. But I wouldn't have experienced that if I didn't like conversate with you and talk about that, you know. So that's one thing I value, you know, from this community, is because, like, I don't look at it as like, it is low key hoarding, but like my collection is inspired from you guys, you know. I do need to go through some of this stuff and get rid of it.
Well, even that would have never transpired if it wasn't for the fact that my son and I were going to a signing event together. So, I mean, how do you go to a virtual signing event on a virtual book?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I would never, it's possible I never would have experienced that book, that story, which in turn possibly meant that you may have never been exposed to it, which in turn may have been the possibility of the success or non-success of David Boer, Drew Zucker. I mean, it's a snowball that I don't think everyone takes in consideration. And that, you know, by in turn, when we buy these things, that we directly are affecting the community in which that we buy them from, meaning our own LCS and where they spend their money, which is directly into our communities. So, I mean, I know it got really heavy real quick, but I mean, I guess what I'm really saying is it's nice to be able to have options of not just being virtual, but being able to tangibly hold something in your hand.
Yeah.
And then in turn, last year, Kai and I handed out over 100 comic books at Halloween.
I
How the
remember that.
How am I supposed to do that virtually? I mean, I am not gonna spend the money on every kid's iPhone that walks up. You know what I mean? There's no way. Right. Exactly. But I mean, I will definitely. It was more than worth whatever it took for us to be able to gather those books and be able to afford them and do what we could to offer them to people and try to influence the next generation, because we do know that they're hanging out on their computers. But if we can remove that and get them, to enjoy, like what Chris was saying, to tangibly hold the book and enjoy the art, or like you're saying, to expose someone to a story that we were never exposed to before, but simply because we can hand it to someone or share it and read it.
Every time I get my pool, before the schools were closed down, I would always bring my pool list. Like a lot of my students that were in the comic books, they already knew automatically, Mr. Kirkus Wednesday, did you get new? Ours Thursday, because I picked them up after work. So it's like, it's Thursday, did you get new comic books? And I would always I would show them the ones that were appropriate for them to read, and they knew, like, low key, like, you can't read that, you can't read that, you can't read that. This was good. This one you couldn't read. And then some of them, but I would share that with them so they can get exposed to, like, actually reading books, because there was a time in my class where I have like reading time. We have a little library, so they go get a book from the library. But sometimes they didn't want to read what was in what was in the library. So comic books was always like another option for them, and which is crazy because some of the kids didn't even like reading, and that's what inspired them to like, I'm gonna read this,
Yeah.
So, but you can't experience that. I can't give them my phone and like, here, read it on my phone.
Dude, I was never a big
That's
reader growing up. I was always the type one to look at the pages, look at the pictures. Look at the pictures, bro. Let me look at the pictures. Maybe I can tell stories about by the picture. No, I read more now. I mean, ever since I started getting into comics than I ever did. So if I would have really got turned on to them at a younger age, the options are endless. You know what I mean? Where I would be at in life right now. You know what I mean? But yeah. Maybe we had somebody.
I wish I collected.
We had somebody like you.
One of the things I've seen that really spurs shit is when people work together, and I've seen it communal. So when I go to like the LCS on the Wednesday nights, they have a group called Sketchy Bugs. So one person may write real well, and there might be some great artists or some pencilers or something, but when they work in conjunction, it's almost a assembly line. And this assembly line is a functionality of art. And when I mean of art, I mean it's a cool assembly line of to watch someone talk about a story, and someone's drawing it, and someone's going ahead and coloring behind them, and then someone's just doing background, that you end up realizing that, again, getting back to the whole digital, it's not something that's normally shared. You can just go email things like that. But in a group setting like this, it's a communal thing that they all can sit down together and work together. And that's even like this conversation. It's something that you can't do if I'm just sending a little blip and then you get back to me 5 minutes later and he gets back to him 5 minutes later, and then we try to create a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Send me your clip of that question.
And essentially, and that's actually some of the gripes I have personally about the differences between edited shows and some live. Is you never get the organicness of edited things when you can get that with live,
Yeah,
but the cool thing about what edit is you can remove all those uhs and ums. All right, so you make yourself look good, but you're not really given the spontaneity or the organicness of how people feel about what they're talking about. You're just going ahead and going, look at all these cool sound bites.
That's interesting. No, there actually is an edited show that I want to work on, but it's more along the lines of what like John Comics with Kids does, like where he does like a goofy character and there's like a review within that character, But I, you know, but I, you know, I feel like that's a little more. That's more entertaining, you know, versus just like
Well, no,
here's like
everyone
my
has-
unboxing.
Too, everyone has their own flavor. You know what I mean? And everyone,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's actually talking about how he's still trying to find his place. You know what I mean? So I mean, I think our flavor, meaning speaking for Kai and I, is we don't do a whole lot of flash. We're very organic. We're kind of, I guess, as people are starting to refer to us, as very laid back. You know what I mean? So it allows, but that's us. You know what I mean? And everyone has their own thing. You know what I mean? And I know that if you don't work within your own parameters and you try to fight against what is not you, you know what I mean? It's just people know. You know what I mean? If I was to try to be something I'm not, people would be like, what the hell are you trying to do? You know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. You still feels a whole lot better. Sometimes I like to edit my videos. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Just depends on how I feel, man. Like on we're not having new comic book day. When we had new comic book day, very few times I would go live because I just didn't, because it takes me forever to edit a video. I see some people, man, they're like fucking assembly lines like robots and shit. They just quicking them cranking them out like crazy. So, but yeah, I mean, I have fun doing it like that because I know I know if I'm doing something live, I'll fuck up eventually. I'll say something I don't need to be in there, or whatever, and then I can go ahead and just weed out all the BS and just get right to what I got to do. And if I want to like just jerk around, play around, whatnot on live, I can. But that's like I say, I haven't found like a lane yet. Anything that I'll say, oh, this would be. I see how some people got like some good shows, man. You know what I mean? I've actually seen some good shows. Like Bruce and Stephanie got that good show they're doing with the contest with the questions and whatnot on that Kahoot. That one Comics on the Mind and Robin them did with the FWM, Fuck, Marry, Kill. That was fucking hilarious. Yeah. And this is like a lot of you guys got great shows, man. But I don't know, man. I get there.
Well, no, you actually, dude, you'd say you are one of the very well-known individuals in this community. And, you know, the fact that you do so many spontaneous things and you are everywhere. You know, I think that's one of the things that everyone enjoys about you because we don't know what's going to come next. And that's fucking cool. That's really cool, dude.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I got your books finally got out in the mail today. Like I've been trying. I had to order some ink for my printer, and I just went ahead and used the last little bit of ink I got. So I got that, and I want to say it was Comic Fever's books out, but I had to get his address from like Jigs, man, because I don't think he inboxed me his address, or if he did, it wasn't on my IG, or I don't know if he's got an IG. To be honest with you. But I don't remember getting his address.
And that's, I think, what it was. I'm not certain if because I think that's what Jigs was saying is, we're not going to chase you down, motherfucker. What do you mean? You know, me sending you your email. What the hell's up with this?
Yeah, dude. I mean, me and Jigs helped me out with my my Fire Stick the other night, like reprogramming it and whatnot. And
sorry about that.
I was wondering where you went. I was like, this dude, he's bounce out. He's flashed out.
No, my editor is
it's like
tripping.
Me and Jigs was talking the other night. Jigs was explaining. I don't know.
I'm out of here.
He's like, fuck. Who does that? Is that Perry that does that, or who is it that just bounce out in the middle of right before the live stream's over with? Yeah, me and Jigs. I was like,
so I'm out of here.
A lot of people don't. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people in the community do know, but bro, Jigs is. I mean, he is a. I mean, even though it's not, I'm just saying it because we live in the same state. Because I didn't know Jigs prior to meeting Jigs on YouTube. No, wait. Matter of fact, I met Jigs in my LCS. What am I talking about? Yeah. But I didn't really know Jigs personally, like the type of dude Jigs is. And Jigs is actually, bro, he is a really real dude, man. Like he has a lot of people. I mean, I'm not gonna call like a couple channels out like who might have did something wrong during the live and they called it or whatever. Somebody called. I'm saying he really has people's best interest
in heart. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of feel like I know him like really, really. I feel like I know him better than I know anybody else that has a channel or on YouTube. You know what I mean? But yeah. You're ripping that paper up. I don't know if it's paper or what. It sounds like a bag of cereal out of the cereal box or something. Mark it. It's just gone.
Okay, or something.
Put in that plastic.
No, and I don't know Jigs that well, and I do know that you guys are not that far apart as far as being in a vicinity. You know what I mean? And I do know at times you guys talk, and I have no idea what he may or may not have said to anybody out there, but I do get the impression that Jigs is a decent guy. You know what I mean?
Oh
And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that there have been times where your vehicle wasn't running there for a little bit, right? You had to get a new vehicle and he helped you out.
Pick me up, took me
So, I mean,
yes.
My brother once hit me up with a question that stuck in my head, and it was this: when you think of someone, friend, family, whatever, when you think of someone that's truly there, think of it as that you're standing on the edge of a cliff and you're falling. Who's going to reach their hand out? You know what I mean? You don't have to answer that, but that's when my brother said that to me, I was like, okay, that really narrows it down. You know what I mean? Because there's as you well know, there's just a lot of people out there. So that's how I kind of measure certain people when I'm not saying judge, but evaluate, and I try to give everyone 100%. I feel it's up to them to remove it. You know what I mean? So, and I try to do what I feel is best for my family. So I just try to remove any damage that I can before it hits them. And I don't mind if it hits me. So, and so getting back to Jigs, I feel that, in general, from what I know of the guy, he tends to have a lot of people's interests in mind. And he's not afraid to call people out.
I agree.
Yeah.
And he may
he keeps it real. That's
he's trying to be real.
I know a lot of OGs.
I'm afraid if I kept it real with people, I'd probably piss a lot of people off. So I just kind of, so I'm just gonna keep it. But nah, just trust and believe, man. He's a real, he's a really real guy. You know what I mean? Real dude.
Yeah.
Good guy, man. He's a great guy, bro. You know what I mean? On top of that, served this country. You know what I mean? Shout out to anybody who actually served in the military. Thank you for your support.
Absolutely. And actually, normally how the show is when I'm out, we're out. So before we go, what I do want to say is on what you were saying, and on that note, I have to say you guys too. You guys have been so welcoming to Kai and I in this community. That put that back up, man. And there's a good way to end it. You guys are really, great and gentle hearts that have reached out to Kai and I in this community. And I'm not just excluding anyone. I'm including you guys. Many of the people in this community have done that. And that being said, Kai and I greatly appreciate all of you. So Chris, mine, and everyone out there in the community, we're out. Thank you very much. From 1-2 Comic Talk, from mine, from Chris 2-6.